Hi.
My name is Cody. I'm the owner of Bear Claw Media. I'm also the podcast interviewer person for this podcast. I specifically deal with content creation on social media, and I also deal with digital ads and sophisticating your marketing. And today I actually have one of my clients, which is...
Erica Kirk.
Yeah. And what are some of the... So we talked a little bit already, but what are some of the things that you do? I mean, I know you have like 4 or 5 businesses almost.
I do.
Yeah.
Multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know I didn't say this before, Liz, but let's start this out. My first job as at home is to be a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
So I do those.
Full-time job.
And I do those with excellence. Thank you. I hope. There are days when my kids would probably argue with you, but I do them with excellence. I'm a real estate agent in the Kansas City area. I love my city. So if you ever want to come to Kansas City and look for a home, I'm your girl. I love working with buyers. I like working with people that are selling their house, but I really love the heart of a buyer and helping them find the perfect home. I am a direct sales. I forgot to mention this when we were talking before. I'm a direct sales person for Crunchy makeup. It is a non-toxic makeup, and I don't have a stitch of it on today because this is a surprise to me. We didn't plan this.
You could have said no, but...
I could have, but,
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm relational. So I do have a direct marketing business through there. And I mostly do that because my skin is so sensitive that it's the only makeup I found that's non-toxic or toxin-free and doesn't burn my skin like acid.
Yeah.
Which is good. So, but most of my full-time job is to be a realtor. JOB is to be a realtor and help people find their best home.
The best home that they can get. Yeah. Which
I hope I did for you.
Yeah, it was great.
I love your little house. I love your house.
We love our house. Yeah. We thought it was great. We thought you sold the house perfectly. Like, no pressure. Here's the homes that you need to look at. And then you actually drove us away from homes that we were like, we really think this is a really nice house. And you're like, there's some key things here that you really need to look at.
Sure.
And I think that was great because had you been just a regular, like, just any day?
Well, we call it commission breath.
Yeah.
In the industry. I don't have commission breath.
So if that's what you would have been, if you would have been one of those high turnover, quick sale kind of people, I know we would have bought a home with, like, cracked foundation or something where the seller just was not telling the truth. And so that's actually one of the homes that we looked at. We looked at... there's a crack in the foundation. They're like, no, it's fine. It's just, somebody hit it with a bulldozer and they're going to come fix it and there's no issue. And you're like, there's extra cracks that are going out this way, which are going to ruin the whole thing. And so, yeah, it was great. And we ended up with a great house, and we ended up with a great house that was in our budget, which was...
In a bigger lot than you thought you ever could get.
Yeah.
So.
Which is amazing. And it's in a great spot, and we're just super happy with it. So you've done a ton of B2C, marketing, selling, that kind of stuff. You've done a little bit B2B. I know we talked about. So if you haven't done marketing, if you don't know a ton about marketing, which is really, really tough when you're first starting out.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be. And that's just the way that it is. B2C is basically business to consumer. So business to customer. Like if I was at a bakery, like we were this morning, they're selling directly to somebody who walks in. It's a short sale. Here's my product. Buy my product. Now you're done. And then you have the follow-up.
Please come back.
And then please come back. Yeah. The delight part. The how can I make you feel like you're a valued customer? Whereas B2B is a little bit longer sales. I have to sell X, my product is $10,000 per year, and then you buy into it and as a business, as an investment to then see a return in some way. So B2B is I'm specifically looking for businesses that will buy my stuff and I know you've done both.
Yeah.
Which is great. What are some of the things that you've done as far as marketing for both B2B, B2C? And then you can even pull, I'm sure you could pull from other friends that you have that are pretty much doing the same thing. I know we both know some web developers. I know your husband does a ton of B2B as well as B2C. And so what are some marketing things that you've seen done well? What are some things that you've done that you've seen, value from?
Marketing, at least, let's just talk first of all for the real estate business that I'm in. One of the things that I have found valuable is we'll talk about value first. Valuable first is the social media that Cody has taken over for me because he's excellent, and you should use him at Bear Claw Media for your social media marketing.
Yeah.
Among other things.
Please.
Among other
so
things.
many things I do.
That has grown my Instagram following and my Facebook business page immensely because it just sat there before. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do it. I didn't know what to post.
Yeah.
It just, it wasn't something that was high on my list of priorities until you came along and convinced me that it was. That has been very valuable.
You actually convinced me that it was.
Okay. Well, there you go. I had no idea. That has been very, very valuable. What I don't find valuable as far as marketing goes is direct marketing, like postcards and letters and stuff like that.
Really? Because I get those all the time.
From
all kinds of realtors and stuff.
How many of them do you call?
Never. I've never called one. I don't know.
And where do those things go?
In the trash. And they're really expensive. And
they are it's the cost benefit. It doesn't, that is so impersonal to me when you and I both know I like relationships so much better. Yeah. So that's where I feel social media, at least for the people that I tend to work with, and the first time home buyers that are about your age, millennials. I don't know why they really want to go with a 51-year-old woman, but I love you guys. So
because you establish yourself as an authority figure. I think that's one of the big things that we got when we were working with you. We were like, we just need someone to to find us a house that we can buy. And we were thinking that, every realtor is the same because I know. And that's like, we knew we didn't want a salesy person. That was really the only North Star. Don't sell me too hard. That was all that we were looking for. And so we weren't even thinking about it, but then you established yourself as an authority. I think that was a great thing. You came in and you're like, I know this area and you don't want to be here. I know the things you need to look at whenever you're buying a house.
Right. And let me just go back because I do not steer people because I'm not allowed to steer people, but I also know what my clients want. So I know if there's an area you're saying you want to be in, I'm going to say, hey, look, it's 35 minutes from your office. Yeah. Do you really want to be here? I will ask you questions, but I never steer any of my clients.
Definitely. Yeah. You didn't steer us. I think you just asked the right questions to direct us in the right direction. It was very soft, hey, I'm really here to help you guys out, and that's really what so you need to think about these things before you buy. And those were just things that first-time homebuyers don't think about, right? I mean, we just
don't because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
We didn't know.
So direct marketing, like the postcards and stuff, it's very expensive. Yeah. And it doesn't produce what you think it should produce.
It's really, 1 out of 100 or less.
Yeah. Now, in my industry, it doesn't work. In my husband's industry, it does because those are very different kinds of people and they file things away. Yeah. Most people, when you get stuff from people in my industry, they just throw them away. Yeah. It's like the car industry. They just throw them away. It's like, great, I want to keep.
But this one thing that your husband has told me is that he actually sees value in the videos that we do. Yes. In the relationship side. And
because it's relational. Yeah. Yeah. And people need to know, like, and trust you in order to work with you. And that's, for me, that's so important. It's so important as far as marketing goes.
Yeah. And then the majority of what we do is content marketing. I know you've done a little bit of ad marketing outside of just our stuff. I haven't ever run ads for you, but
no, because I don't do them anymore.
Yeah, and so what was your experience with that? Like, can you dive into what was successful, not successful? What do you think?
ads that I think were for houses, not successful. All they did was just put the house out there. It really was for my client's edification that they knew it was being marketed. But it doesn't really sell the house. I've never had a house sell off social media advertising. And maybe somebody has. That's great.
Yeah.
If that's their gig, then that's the way they market. For me, all ads do for me on social media is bring people to my page to get to know me. And even houses, if you're advertising houses, they'll get people to my page to know me, like me, love me, and hire me. But I haven't run one in such a long time.
Yeah.
In the real estate industry, you have to be careful when you're marketing a house that you don't narrow down who you're marketing it to, because then you're excluding people, and that's a challenge.
Yeah.
You can't exclude people.
What do you mean by exclude people?
Like if I go in and set my parameters to market a house to 35 to 45-year-old white females, then I have excluded people, and that's a challenge, and that's a legal problem for me. So you can't do that. So
that's really tough.
It is tough, and I would never do that anyway. I would never turn anybody away. It's not who I am. It's not who God called me to be. I'm called to love on everybody that comes near me and share the love of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. That's really tough.
It is very tough, because then
the whole thing about advertising
is
narrowing down.
It is. And then guess what happens? You start narrowing down in my industry, or you don't narrow down because you can't narrow it down, and then it's just as expensive to do that it is to send out a postcard. So cost per client. So I don't find it beneficial. I think content is probably the way to go. So people get to know who I am and know who my brand is. And pardon the noise. I think a fly just came in.
It's all good. Yeah. I did not know that. That's really tough.
These are things that we've been discussing in the industry recently.
It's just
with regard to that. So.
Because you're literally you're tying your own hands down. I mean, that's really what it is. You can't target effectively at all.
You can't. I mean, you can target, like I can target neighborhoods. If I want to do a mailer, I can target neighborhoods. I can go farm a neighborhood. But if I am putting a house up for sale and trying to push that out, I really can't narrow down. From my belief, I don't believe I can narrow it down. And I think there are a lot of people in the industry that are beginning to think the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to violate any of the civil rights stuff. You don't want to violate anything in order to market.
That's really, I didn't know how intense that was. That's crazy.
It is.
So it's just, you just have to market to everybody every time.
Yes, and that's why I think just pulling
really
people to
your
having content and pulling people to your page so they get to know you is important.
Content's huge. And I know that the nice thing is you can actually transition now. Is from, I guess, from really, really vanilla is what I call it. Vanilla marketing tactics, which is just I market to everybody.
Right.
With your new planner that you can then...
In my planner, I can
you
find
can focus
a niche.
in.
I can, and I have decided with the new planner that it will go to the real estate industry because we have a lot of background stuff that we have to keep track of that doesn't necessarily have to be on our schedule, but we have to know it's there. Like we have an expiration on an offer that needs we just need to have in the background.
Yeah.
But we don't need to sit at our desk and go 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
And for people that are doing direct marketing, they have their businesses during the day where they have to keep track of. And then they have things that they need to be aware of in the background that are coming up, or they have deadlines within work or some podcasts they need to watch or listen to. And then everybody has a personal aspect to their calendar. My kids are teenagers, and they're driving.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need to haul them anywhere like I used to.
Which is great. That's great.
Cody's in the throes of that right now.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's also terrifying.
Great.
But I need to keep track of where they are so that I know that if they need me, I know where they are. I know how to get to them. I know their schedule just in the background. So this planner was designed in order to help people take control of their whole schedule, not just their business schedule, so that they can find time to actually do what God's called them to do and rest.
So it's really focused in on, you're going to focus in on the real estate industry first, because I know that industry and I know how crazy my schedule can get when I've got 50 things in the background going on, but I still
have to go show XYZ house to my lovely clients. So, and I have to be present for those clients.
Yeah.
And if I don't write down what's going on in the background, then it's always in my head and I can't focus fully on my clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I know going back to what we were talking about this morning was kind of testimonials and possibly doing some more testimonial stuff. I know you've said you've done some you've got some testimonies from people. What was the value of those, and how do you think you can get more going forward?
Well, if I ask, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because I'm relational, it doesn't occur to me to ask because you guys are in my life all the time. I don't think, hey, Cody, you and Ariel need to sit down and do a video testimonial.
It'd probably just
now,
be me.
I know.
It's
okay.
okay.
I'd get her. I'd get you, Ariel.
She wouldn't do it.
She's so beautiful. Oh. Anyway, my husband's really good about asking in his business. My husband is the airplane broker. He's very good about it. I just don't think about it because y'all are seriously my friends. So you don't think about saying, hey, friend, sit down. Tell me how great I am to the camera. But I will. Yeah. And that's part of why you're my social media manager and my marketing manager, because you think about these things that I don't. I have some written testimonials that I asked years ago when I was in another program, and they just sit there in my email. They will go on my new website, which should be out in the next couple of months.
Yeah, and we've talked through analytics and adding analytics to your website.
Didn't know what that was.
How do we target our customers a little bit better?
Didn't know what that was.
But you've really built a business on the backs of referrals.
I have. That my business is steady because I always have somebody being referred to me. Yeah. It's, when you first start in real estate, they talk about your sphere of influence and marketing to that. And I would go further to say that the sphere of influence is good for just keeping relationships with the people you know, but it's the people that they know that are important. Yeah. That you learn how to bring them into your sphere of influence. Yeah. So that they feel comfortable referring you to somebody else.
Which I think with your content, you've really been growing your sphere of influence.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where I am in the country, I know somebody because my sphere is big. Yeah. And part of having that nationwide and worldwide sphere, and it's worldwide because I have friends in Australia and New Zealand now. Yeah. All over the country and all over the world. That part is not... It's good for my real estate business because if somebody moves to Kansas City, which is the best place on the planet to live, then they can refer to me. But more importantly, that worldwide sphere is good for agents of prayer and for the planner. Yeah. And then that part of the business. You've even started reaching out to other people, and you were on somebody else's video the other day. I know you're reaching out to a couple other people. Can you talk about those experiences and how those grew? Super fun. Yeah. How did those come about, and what was the return on that? Like, did you actually see something? Or? Let me speak specifically to something that happened over Christmas. I have a friend named Hannah Place at hannahplace.com. Fantastic. She has her own podcast. She does. It's the Graceful Gladiator podcast, teaching women how to embrace both their gladiator side, which I tend to be, and their graceful side, and trying to bring balance into their life so they can be fully who God calls them to be. She's fantastic. She has an academy that you can go through and learn about yourself. It's wonderful. She is wonderful. She reached out. She and I were talking. We reached out, and she was highlighting business owners over Christmas, and she asked me if I'd like to do it. Yeah. And I came in and talked about Crunchy, and part of it is that Hannah and I have been friends for several years. We met in line at a marketing summit. I was standing there. I was terrified to be there. I was by myself. I was like taking a step in faith that this is something I needed to be doing. And she was standing in a line with her husband, and they both turned around and said, "Hi." And I said, "Y'all are really pretty. Y'all don't want to be friends with me because you're really pretty." But they have turned out to be such a powerful influence on my life with regard to just having a relationship with people. Yeah. And she and I talked about my Crunchy business And I actually got sales off of it because she, it's part of her podcast following.
Yeah.
That watched that video. It was a good time.
Yeah.
And I like being on camera, so there, even without makeup.
But you did, not just that. I mean, we saw numbers grow on your social media from it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. But it's all okay. Yeah. No, it's all good.
I just look and go.
We're learning.
Looky.
We're learning analytics right now. We're learning how to know who's watching.
He's trying to learn me. Let's just put it.
But you actually saw your social media grow from it, which I think was great. And that's another one of those relational things.
It is.
It's really just you're connecting with people.
It is we've talked about this.
Yeah.
It's great for like short messages, but if you can't do this and actually talk to somebody or sit down and have coffee with somebody, it's all for naught.
Yeah.
God calls us to be relational, to be in relationship not only with Him but with each other. So if you are missing this part, that's a huge part of your life.
So, what are some other? I know this is just random. What are some B2B stuff that you've seen work successfully? Maybe not just for you, but for your husband, for web development, the web development family. I know, it's tough. But just what are some opportunities there?
Well, I see it more as sharing who my business is with other businesses so that they can go out and find other businesses to work with. I don't do a lot of like B2B specifically in the real estate or makeup industry.
Yeah.
Or even with a planner, probably not going to see a lot of B2B stuff. Might.
Really?
Well, we might. I haven't really thought that through. This is also new.
You're selling the planner to business owners.
I'm selling the planner. They're still my clients, though. They would still be customers to me.
Okay.
So,
yeah. You kind of walk that line.
Yeah, it's that weird line.
Mm-hmm.
Intense and... No, I'm just kidding. I won't say that. Intense and flighty all at the same time.
Yeah.
I see myself more as somebody who can pour into other businesses so that they can pour out to other businesses. So even with the planner, you're right. It's pouring into them so that they can pour out to other businesses. That's generally where I stand. As for Chris,
I know he's probably back and forth all the time.
Back and forth. That's probably a conversation you need to have with him to see, because he pays attention to that stuff that I don't. So he understands how the analytics work with the B2B more than I do.
Yeah. So that's I think the starting point for. I know we're currently working through who retargeting, and so what has been your experience as far as like focus on this specific client base? I know we just talked about how you really can't do that for real estate, but you're kind of making that transition.
I am.
What's your thought process right now on all of that?
All over the place.
Yeah. What's your thought process on what's your dream on the planner, right? So what's the dream of the planner to turn into? My
dream for the planner, I'm just talking off the cuff because I really haven't written this down, is to empower people. One of the things, let me just back up real quick. I went through a program with Kirk at the first of the year. He does the John Maxwell training. And we have a business group at our church that got together and did this training with them.
Oh, cool. Blueprint
training. It was fantastic. One of the things I learned about myself is that I'm not just a broker of real estate. I'm an empowerment broker. So my job is, or my dream is, to empower people to get a handle on their schedules so that they can actually enjoy their life and their business. I do a lot of work with Kingdom-driven entrepreneur as far as learning through them. Yeah. I've reached out to them to ask them for permission to do their goal setting program and develop a program around that goal setting book that they have. Shay Bynes is wonderful. So she has given me permission to develop a program around that to use with the planner so people can set goals, they can plan their schedule. But most importantly, they can learn how to have a life outside of just being business driven or hustle or grind. That is, hustle and grind is huge for being wrong. But it's wrong. You dishonor your relationship with God if you don't take a break and you don't rest. And there's a book, Grace Over Grind, by Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur. The author is Shay Bynes. And really connected with that message because I'm not a hustle and grinder.
Yeah.
I'm a relational person.
Yeah.
And I think when you hustle and grind, not only do you disregard the rest God tells you to be in and the grace He provides, but it also destroys relationship. Because if I'm grinding and hustling, I'm going to push you aside to get to what I need to do next.
Yeah.
And that's not right.
It blinds you.
It blinds you. And so I'm hoping this planner is something that we can teach people how to take control of their schedule and really honor the rest God has for them.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so, I mean, really, you're kind of walking that line B2B to B2C,
I know.
right? And so it's really tough. I know we really need to, we're going to work on targeting your target audience and growing your sphere.
This is all so new.
Yeah.
I told you this morning that I've been praying about this and it's been on my heart for a year or a year and a half. And I've been thinking and praying and asking God for guidance. And then all of a sudden He said, here it goes. Sit down. We're going to do this. And I spent 48 hours almost just intensely. I still had to deal with business, but just getting download after download after download from Him on how this is supposed to look and how it's supposed to be presented. It still keeps coming. So
we've only got a little bit more time left. Okay. We're going to talk. Last question. Okay. So if in your perfect world, right, what would your business do and how can marketing empower that?
Oh man. Yeah. In a perfect world, I would have a group of realtors working for me, and me mentoring them to be the best that they can be within the business of real estate. But more importantly, the goal setting, the figuring out who you are and who God says you are, and getting your schedule into control would be worldwide. That I would be teaching people this and teaching people how to use this system to open up their schedule for God's grace and God's rest. And I would be using my friend Cody to teach people how to get that. That would be my dream. My dream is I can see us within a group of people really pouring into them.
How would you